Well, hey everybody, what's going on?
Yeah.
Yeah, I totally spaced out and forgot to put the starting soon thing on. So for a few seconds, well, a couple minutes, I guess, we were just kind of sitting here staring at the
Sitting here staring at the screen. Me complaining about fucking being bloated as fuck.
Well, Tom wanted to turn the ceiling fan on, and I'm just like, oh man,
fucking hot.
I'm freezing cold though.
Fucking
it's
burning
freezing
up.
cold in here.
Burning up, and I'm fucking swelling up.
So I'm really cold.
Yeah.
But he turned it on and it distracted me, so I forgot to turn the fucking thing on.
All that nandrolone hit
I just
me.
hit the streaming. I just hit the streaming button without turning on the starting scene thing.
I had to take a whole bunch of water pills.
And I kind of laughed because CB said, "Tom, how glad are you didn't have your dick out?" I was like, "Yeah, I mean,
it'd have been even better.
That's kind of like 50-50. That could happen.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?"
I've grabbed her and just thrown it over there before the show. Tear it out. It's been a while. Been a while since I did that. Fucking couple weeks, I guess.
Yeah.
Couple months.
Yeah.
Not a couple weeks.
Yeah, it was only a few weeks ago. But yeah, so.
Yeah, we would just charge you for it.
It's not free. That's right.
All right, cough up with money.
Yeah, that's right.
So we saw Battle Royale. Yeah, the other night we saw the
Battle Royale with cheese.
Yeah,
not really.
We saw the special. There's like a special edition up on Amazon.
Yeah, I'll get into that a little bit because I watched a couple of the reviews of it, and there's a lot of people don't like the special edition version. They like the theatrical version.
I don't know the difference. I've never seen the theatrical version. This version, I liked it, but it was kind of drawn out, and I got kind of sappy in certain places. It was very like relationship oriented. I didn't expect that. I thought it was going to because it starts off with all kinds of warnings that you got to be at least 15. You can't be a school kid to see this, and it's just like all these fucking warnings and shit, which they're hamming it up. They had to have been. When it kicked off, it was pretty hardcore. It was like cross between Hunger Games and Escape from New York, kind of.
Although, like I said, Hunger Games totally ripped this off.
Yeah.
Although the woman that wrote the Hunger Games books insists that she had never read the novel that this was based on or seen the movie either. But
it's possible.
Yeah, it's possible. Like I said, there have been other kind of kids killing each other. You know, you had like Lord of the Flies and stuff like that. So it's not that crazy a concept to come out with, but it is kind of the Hunger Games concept is very similar to this, though.
So you can go ahead and break it down, Jen, if you want to.
But I mean, this movie is a lot better than the Hunger Games.
I liked that first Hunger Games. It was all right.
Yeah, I haven't read the books. I did see a couple of the movies.
I don't have anything against those movies.
No, I don't either. I'm just saying that
to me, they were like more upscale reboots of fucking The Running Man.
Yeah,
The Running Man.
This has kind of been compared to The Running Man too, a little bit. Well, the thing about Battle Royale is I kind of feel like even though this wasn't the first, I don't know if this was like the first kind of like kids killing each other thing, but it was one that was really super influential and like it influenced like a whole bunch of movies like going forward, not just the Hunger Games, but like a bunch of other stuff. Probably most recently, Squid Game, the Korean series, that's was heavily influenced by Battle Royale as well. Like I said, the novel came out in 1999, and it was written by Koushun Takami. And so this movie came out in 2000. Now, interestingly, even though the movie came out in Japan in 2000, and was hugely controversial, and like I said, it was called like an R15 rating, and they make a big deal like at the beginning. It's like no one under 15 admitted, blah blah blah, and all this other kind of stuff.
And this is a Toho flick now, same as Godzilla.
No, Toei.
Toei, yeah, Toei.
Yeah,
Toei. That is the same. That's same, right? Toei. Toei does Godzilla. Toei does Godzilla.
Do they? Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think it does. Yeah,
it's
Toei, I think. Yeah.
But yeah, so this came out, and there was like a huge controversy about it, with all of the kind of all your kind of like conservative people like clutching pearls about it. Oh, it's gonna cause a youth crime wave and all this other kind of shit. And predictably, this made the movie do really, really well.
Yeah.
Like it made like I think it made like 30-something million, like on a $4 million budget.
Did the same thing to Joker. They bitched and moaned about Joker, made it a hit.
Well, yeah, I mean that doesn't always work, but I do kind of feel like a lot of times
it's a setup.
But yeah,
I think it's a setup.
So this movie came out. Now, interestingly, it came out in 2000. Like I said, it was a big success in Japan, but it had a lot of trouble getting distribution in other countries, and it didn't actually even get released in the U.S. It never got released on theatrically. Like, it showed at some film festivals and shit, but it never got a theatrical release here, and it didn't even get a DVD release, I don't think, until 2010 or 2011 or something like that. Like, some people did see it at, various film festivals. I think the first time they showed it at a film festival over here was, like, not that long after Columbine, so everybody, like, flipped out about it.
Yeah,
but
it has nothing to do with Columbine.
No, but I mean, school kids shooting up, you know what I mean? It's just kind of like the association.
Well, it was like the Hunger Games, though.
Yeah, but like I said, Hunger Games came out a lot later.
Yeah.
So
I know that. I'm just saying, but it's that same premise.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not about shooting up your school. They were on school. They were on an island.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and the thing about it too is that, and maybe this is going to make me sound super jaded, this is a very, very violent movie. Okay, it is very violent. However, it's not even in the top 20 of the most fucked up shit or the most violent shit I've seen. Not at all. Like, and I've seen like way, way, way worse shit since then. Like, since this came out. So this was like fucked up for the time, but I think like movies have gotten a lot more extreme. I think in the 20 odd years since then.
I think a lot of it had to do with the fact that it was Japanese school kids doing all the killing. They were killing each other. They had to.
And they're not kids. They're teenagers.
They're teenagers, yeah.
Which doesn't make it it's not quite as fucked up.
But they got a good premise now. You got this island where you have all these Japanese kids with explosive collars on them, with all these rules that they now have to fight each other, and there can only be one left. And you're going to end up with a bunch of girls in little fucking Japanese schoolgirl outfits, getting killed and killing each other and stuff. It's some cool ideas. There are parts of the film that are real fast paced, which I like those. The edit we saw, it bogs down, and it starts to get involved in relationships and shit, which I didn't really care about their relationships, but I guess they were trying to add another depth to the movie, some kind of depth to it. But I was just so much looking for basically like a slasher or action flick. It's not really an action flick, not the version I saw.
It kind of is, but it's also a social satire.
Yeah.
And all of the relationship stuff is in there, I think, to, one, demonstrate that these are school kids. I mean, these are teenagers with all of teenagers' problems. You know what I mean? Which is who has a crush on who and all the other kind of stuff. So it's like reminding you that these are still like essentially children. And I think, too, that it was trying to, also make you care about the characters. So it would have more impact, like, when they got killed, you know what I mean?
I'm going to say I liked it. I thought it was a good movie.
I like it a lot, too.
I want to see the
theatrical cut, though. From everything that I've heard, everybody says the theatrical cut is better.
I don't doubt that.
We saw the special edition.
Yeah.
Which came out later, which has 8 extra minutes.
Yeah, it didn't need them, probably.
And a lot of it is like flashbacks, like extra longer flashbacks and stuff. And I kind of feel like it didn't need those, because some of it showed like the same one or a similar one like more than once, and I feel like it didn't. And then like after it ended, it showed like 3 flashbacks, like as requiems, and I think it didn't need that.
Yeah, that was my problem with it, was like the flashbacks.
Those are not in the theatrical cut.
There were some scenes were a little bit too long, the girls that were trying to all hide out that eventually turned on each other, like the preamble to that with the guy in the hospital, or the guy in the bed.
Yeah,
that scene went on a little too long, I think. Like, and it was just about their love, I guess, And there was a couple other little scenes like that, but they did have some standout characters in this. One of them's this crazy school girl who starts getting into it. She puts on makeup, gets sinister. She's got a damn sickle.
Yeah,
she's pretty ruthless. And then they got a dude who's a repeat offender. He's been through Battle Royale before, and he volunteered to go back. And he's like the Terminator. He kind of looks like a Japanese Sid Vicious. Similar kind of haircut, kind of similar kind of face, and he's badass. He just kills everybody. He loves it, and he almost makes it to the very end. Does a lot of damage with an Uzi, standard Uzi with a collapsible stock, underfolder Uzi. Kind of had a little thing on it, the standard one. Got that. A lot of cool guns in the movie.
I feel like that Uzi had like unlimited.
That's what I was going to get in. There were 2 Uzis.
Unlimited ammo.
There were 2 Uzis in the movie. The Japanese soldiers who set all this up, they had pretty interesting rifles. They were M16A1s. Some of them had the damn triangular handguards. Other ones had the round handguards. And then I saw a bunch of Car 15s in there too. And they were all had the A1 rear sights and everything, the skinny barrels. So they were kind of like A1s mocked up to look like A2s, which I guess the Japanese may have had that at that time in the 2000s. The kids, some of them were given like random weapons, and some of it wasn't like a weapon, like a pot lid.
Yeah, or binoculars.
Binoculars.
That one girl had binoculars.
Another dude got a tracking device, could track people. One guy got an Uzi, then they hand out a mini Uzi, which is a smaller one with a side folder on it. Revolvers, a 1911 45 auto, hatchet, sickle, crossbow. But that's basically just what comes to mind that really sticks out. The thing that I liked the guns. They had a good representation of guns. The representation of them was fairly straightforward, kind of accurate. The thing that fucking bothered me about it in the edit that I saw is that no one was carrying any ammunition or magazines. And the Terminator there, that fucking main dude who got a hold of that Uzi, he must have fired off 500 rounds.
I mean, he shot everybody. Right. All over the place.
Yeah. He shot 3 to 500 rounds. So that's at least, 10 mags, 10 magazines, 10 30-round magazines at least. And he wasn't carrying any damn magazines, so I don't know where this ammo's coming from. The other representations of the weapons were fairly accurate, it's like, 8-shot pistols, and they do seem to shoot 8 rounds, not 40, But other than that, which I think sometimes these movies eliminate ammunition and spare magazines. They eliminate that because it looks better on camera, I think.
Yeah.
Because you could not get a cool body line on a guy when you're shooting him for a film when he's fucking just loaded down with fucking magazines and magazine pouches. I mean, they even did that in Predator. Nobody's carrying any ammo. Because it would look big around the waist and everything. You'd look fat, even if you had those big-ass arms.
Yeah, it's like, and you're watching a movie. You don't want to see that. You just assume, they got ammo from somewhere. It's it's you're suspending your disbelief. Mm-hmm. Well, and that's kind of the same thing about Battle Royale is that, even though, I mean, generally, like, a lot of the fight choreography and stuff like that was actually pretty realistic. And I read that when they were casting the movie, they had, like, 800 actors that wanted to be in it. And they put them through this really rigorous, like, physical training thing, for several months. And then they winnowed out, the ones that didn't make it. And then they eventually got down to, like, the final 42, or how many kids it was, 41, 42. So the fight choreography is all, like, really good. But like I said, I didn't really mind that, because, like I said, it's kind of a satire, and it's kind of a black comedy. So I kind of feel like it's not supposed to be entirely realistic. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like a fable.
Yeah, the tone of it was kind of strange to me. It did seem pretty. The premise was kind of dark. You're getting kind of the standard Japanese acting, which by American standards is overacting, kind of almost a kabuki type thing. Where fucking emotions are magnified and
they're teenagers too, which so doesn't help.
It's over the top acting, which is kind of standard for a lot of Japanese movies. The ones, at least the old ones. It's like something out of the 60s and the 70s are like that. So it kind of causes a strange tonal thing where it's like a horror movie, but it's also kind of like a Toei fucking Godzilla movie too. It has some of that element to it, which is kind of silly. Even though it can get kind of graphic, but it's not that graphic. It's not. It wasn't. It's not like they're ripping people's eyes out or anything. It's not really. Like an Italian movie or something,
Yeah, like I said, I've seen like way worse. I've seen way worse Japanese movies. Or like other Asian movies. And like I said, I think they've only just gotten more fucked up like as time has gone on.
Yeah.
So it's violent, but it's not like because most of the people just get like shot up. You know what I mean? Like some people get killed with like sickles and things like that, but it's not like, and that one dude at the beginning, like his collar. Because I said, well, if they introduce the exploding collar, they're going to have to demonstrate that on somebody. So they do that, like, pretty soon.
There's one scene where that sinister chick with the sickle is holding a gun on another girl that she knows. They're all from the same class. they had some beef in the past, but it was pretty accurate, I think, by the choreography, and it did kind of match up with what actually a shooting actually looks like. She pulled a gun on that girl, and that girl tried to knock it out of her way or threw something at her and then turned to run. She got shot in the back anyway, but it looked like she got shot in the back. Remember that? Yeah, and she died on the spot. There was another time where she ran after another girl and shot her, but she ran off and she died much later.
Yeah, because she got shot, but it was just
she got shot, but right.
She kept running, but then she got.
If you ever seen
she bled out later.
Police body cam stuff, you see a lot of that. Guy will be shooting at a dude and he's running, and you go like, he missed, and the guy gets halfway down the block and falls.
Oh no, shit.
He got him.
He didn't miss.
Yeah. So it was a situation like that. Yeah.
But yeah, honestly, I think the best parts of this are, and the funniest parts of it, because like I said, it's kind of like a black comedy. At least I thought it was funny. I don't know if that's like fucked up or whatever. But it is the beginning, like where they set everything up. Because what it is, it's one class, and this is set in. I don't think they say what year it is. It's just some future dystopian Japan.
Yeah.
And like youth crime has gone crazy. Like kids don't even bother fucking showing up for school anymore. They're just all delinquents and all this other kind of shit.
Yeah, and it's not even that bad. They show statistics.
Yeah,
is not. It's like, oh well, shit. America's been like that for 30 fucking years. What are you talking about?
40 years. We still don't have battle royale laws.
Yeah, we don't have
but yeah. So for whatever reason, the government decides like the government is like very draconian, and they pass this law, which is kind of like called the battle royale law. That's what they call it, like colloquially. And they're like, okay, well, to stem the tide or to discourage kids from acting that way. They're going to pick one class at random. I guess it's every year, right? And they take them out to this deserted island. They give them a bag with a map and a flashlight and some food and a random weapon. They don't know what it's going to be. It might suck. It might be good. And they're like, okay, well, you all have to kill each other. There can only be one survivor. And then there's like all these rules. And the best part of it is they show them these rules with this video with this super, super perky woman that's like telling you all the rules like it's the coolest thing ever. And there's all these rules like you can't, because I guess they figured like some people would just go to the island and just like hide out the whole time to not get killed, or just like hide out and pick people off. So they have this whole thing where at a certain times, like certain zones of the island are like off limits, right? Yeah. And they move it like every few hours. Yeah. So you can't stay there, and if you do stay there, like after the time limit, they'll blow your head off, like with the
collar.
With the collar.
Yeah.
And so there's that. So that keeps people moving around. Like you can't just hole up in one place. And they also have a thing where the time limit is 3 days. And if there's more than one person left alive at the end of the 3 days, then everyone gets blown up. You know what I mean? So there has to be just one person at the end. So that's what I mean. So there's like all these other, but other than that, there aren't any rules. Like you can pretty much just do whatever. And this island has shit on it. Like it has abandoned buildings and stuff. So you see like some of the factions, because the kids, I mean, they're not bad kids really. But it's just one of them early on in the movie, whose name I think his name is Nobu, and he stabs that teacher. That teacher, by the way, that guy is like a really famous like Japanese actor. They wanted him for this because he was the host of that game show, Takeshi's Castle.
Okay, yeah.
And so they thought, and he's great in this. He's like the best part of the movie. And so he gets stabbed, like not fatally, obviously, but it's just like in the side or something. And he retires as a teacher, and then I guess like a year later, he's helming this thing where this class gets picked,
killing kids.
Yeah, and he's just like not having it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and he's like, you guys are disrespectful. We're doing this because you guys are disrespectful and don't respect adults. So you got to fight the battle royale. They're picked at random.
Although I kind of suspect that teacher might have had a hand.
In picking who that is. Yeah.
Because remember at the beginning, like when he said, "Oh, your other teacher didn't want you guys to get picked," and then they wheel him in and he's all fucking dead and fucked up with his eyeball out and everything like that. So like we took care of that because we wanted you guys to be here because we hate you guys. But like I said, you can see from the beginning that Nobu stabbed the teacher, but most of the other kids are just regular kids, you know what I mean? They're not terrible, they're not delinquents or anything like that.
By our standards.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, they're just regular teenagers.
By Japanese standards, they might have been wild for all we know.
But I think, well, no, because in the movie they were trying to show that they were just regular teenagers, and they kind of had some flashbacks. Even that real fucked up girl, Mitsuko was her name, I think.
Yeah.
She was abused as a child and molested and stuff. And so she was obviously evil, but she had a reason for being like that. So they tried to go into flashbacks and show these friendships between some of the other ones. So you could see that they were just regular kids, and then they were thrown into this situation. Because I think part of what the theme of the movie was this fear that adults had of kids. You know what I mean? Because the guy that directed it, this was his last movie actually. He died not too long after this came out. He actually started doing the sequel, which is called Battle Royale 2 Requiem, but he died of cancer because he was in his 70s when he made this. And his son ended up doing the second one, which I haven't seen the second one. They have that on Amazon Prime too. I've heard it's not very good. But here's the thing, this one, I looked it up because I've been wanting to do Battle Royale for a long time. And so I looked it up and it said that it was free on Amazon Prime. But what happened was there's a version on Freevee, which you can watch it free with ads, but it was dubbed.
Yeah.
And we started watching that and I was like, man, fuck dubbing. I hate dubbing.
Yeah.
I want to watch it in Japanese. And so then we had to go to Amazon Prime, and then they had it, but they had it in Japanese with English subtitles, but they only had the special edition, the one with the extra 8 minutes, which, like I said, most people that are into this movie don't really like that because they think the extra stuff doesn't need to be in there, and it kind of messes up the pacing, which it kind of does. I can see that.
I can feel it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought it was too long. I thought it was.
But apparently the theatrical version is much better because it doesn't have all that stuff. It doesn't have the flashback stuff at the end, which, like I said, it wasn't necessary because they'd already showed a lot of that stuff earlier, or similar. The only one I didn't mind the one with the girl and the teacher, with the ice cream, but they had already shown that one earlier in the movie. I don't know why they had to show it again toward the end. But yeah, so these kids are just let loose on this island, and a lot of them, and also there's kind of two wild cards who are these two older guys, and none of the other students know who they are. They just kind of threw them in there, and they're just oh, these are transfer students. You know what I mean? They find out about them later on, but they just kind of throw them into the mix for shits and giggles, I guess. But so you immediately see all these kids freaking out, and they know that it's real because a couple of the kids get killed while they're in the room, getting the rules and everything. So they know that this is for real. And so then they all go out. One of them does probably the smartest thing and said, well, I'm just going to start picking people off as soon as they come out of the building. You know what I mean? And he started, because he had a crossbow. And he started doing that, but then he gets killed pretty much immediately too. But then you see all these how the other factions of the kids kind of go off on their own thing. Some of them are I don't want to do this, and a couple of them just commit suicide because they're I'm not doing this and we can't get out of it. So a couple of them do that, and then a couple of them try to work together. There's one group of 3 guys that decide they're gonna go try to hack into the system and turn everyone's collars off and turn all the stuff off and everything that, and they're going revolutionary. They're gonna build a bomb and all this other kind of stuff.
I liked the 2 girls that their weapon was a bullhorn.
Mm-hmm.
So they just get up on top of a hill and start bullhorning everybody and asking for help. The damn Terminator, Japanese Sid Vicious, fucking ran up on him with that Uzi and just gunned him down.
And not only that, as he gunned him down, he put the bullhorn there so everyone could hear them scream. It was pretty messed up. But yeah, so
their thinking wasn't right. They didn't realize where they were.
Well, but like I said, I think that's probably kind of similar to what would happen. If you were thrown into this situation, because all that happened, all these kids, they were on a bus. They thought they were going on a school trip, right? And then at some point they get gassed. Somebody takes over the bus and gasses all of them, and so they all get put to sleep, and then they wake up in this fucking warehouse, and they already have the collars on that'll blow their heads up, and so they can't really leave.
Yeah.
And they're on this island in the middle of nowhere.
They show them this pretty awesome introduction video to orient them to being a battle royale, and they have a TV show hostess, and she's all kawaii and everything, being super cute and friendly, telling them about how the rules were going to be, and that, you're going to fight to the death, and boom, and they got all this cute shit going on. It's fucking hilarious. Yeah, I like it. Yeah.
That was probably one of my favorite parts.
Yeah.
She was fucking great.
They're
she was like,
her...
she was so enthusiastic.
Yeah.
She was so enthusiastic. But yeah, so it's kind of like, so all of the different, and then there's like flashbacks. I don't know how in the theatrical version, because I saw the theatrical version, but it was like a very long time ago. So I don't remember how much of the flashbacks are in the theatrical version, because the special edition has a lot of flashbacks in it, and sometimes they don't, it's not coded like when the flashback is. Like you usually know when it's the present day because the people have the collars on, right? Like, so you know that they're on the island. But sometimes they'll just go back to a flashback and you're just like, wait, what? Where am I for a second? But they do try to kind of give, at least most of the main characters, they do try to give them like a backstory, like a little bit, so you can kind of, like Shuya, who's the main guy, he's they show like his dad like committed suicide, and his best friend was Nobu, the guy that gets killed, like the first guy that gets killed, or no, I guess the second guy. He's the one with his head gets blown up. I think that girl is the first one that gets killed because Kitano, like the teacher, just like throws the knife at her head. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because she mouths off or something. But yeah, so, and then he hooks up with this. Well, not hooks up with, but he vows to protect this other girl because that was Nobu's. That was like his best friend's girlfriend, right? I think that was what, because he promised he would protect her like until the end. So the two of them like kind of stay together like pretty much the whole time, and then they end up hooking up with one of the transfer students, and you're never, like, one of the older guys, and you're never entirely sure if he's like trustworthy or not, because you're like, well, why isn't he just killing them? Like, why? I mean, you find out what his deal is like later on, but at first you're just kind of like, you're not really sure if he's like playing them against each other, because the whole thing is you're supposed to kill everybody, right? So anytime somebody comes up and doesn't kill you right away, you're always just kind of like, what's going on? Like, it's really suspicious. But yeah, so like I said, it's kind of like has these big violent action scenes. Honestly, one of the best scenes, other than like all the early stuff where they're like explaining everything and the teacher's like killing people in the room and the kid's getting his head blown up and everything, I think one of the best scenes was when Shuya gets taken to that lighthouse, and like those 5 girls are like holed up in there because they said we're all friends and we're not gonna participate in this, so they're hiding in there, and they're all being domestic and making food and everything, and they're just like, we'll nurse him back to health and all this other kind of stuff. But then one of the girls saw Shuya accidentally kill her boyfriend, brother, I don't remember who it was, but somebody that she really liked, and she didn't mean to kill him. It was just like an accident. They were fighting and he rolled down a hill and like the axe went in his head, and it happens, you know what I mean? And so this girl decides she's gonna poison him. So she poisons the spaghetti that they're making, and she's gonna feed it to him. But then like one of the other girls is just like, oh, thanks, and like eats it, and then she's just like is all fuck. I guess it was cyanide.
She spit up a bunch of blood. Cyanide won't do that to you.
I just,
they
what
just wanted
was it?
Something dramatic, I guess.
Yeah. And then, because of that, like, then all the girls turn on each other, and then it just becomes this shootout bloodbath. Yeah. And I was in this little lighthouse room, and that was, like, so awesome. I will say that Quentin Tarantino has said that he said in 2009 that this was his favorite film of the previous 20 years. And he said, this is a film that I wish I had made.
Yeah.
And also, he used that girl that was in it. Which one was it?
Probably the crazy one, huh?
I think it was the crazy one. Was in Kill Bill. She played Go-Go.
Yeah. And she had a weapon kind of like the sickle in that. Didn't she have a sickle on a chain?
Yeah, that's right.
And she was he
was homaging.
Yeah, he's homaging
this movie.
Yeah, and she had I think a little mini skirt on, a little schoolgirl outfit.
Hmm. Yeah, he was definitely homaging this because he loved this movie. And yeah, so I'd be interested to read the novel actually, and see like how it differs, because it is like super violent and has like some really fucked up shit in it. But then there's like all of this teenage relationship stuff.
Yeah.
Which, like I said, I think that was done on purpose to kind of demonstrate these are still just teenagers. They're still just kids. They have these like kid emotions.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? To kind of highlight that. And also to maybe also highlight the generational differences, I guess, because it was just kind of like this whole battle royale thing that the government put into law was because they were afraid of juvenile delinquents, type of thing.
Well, the two other ones, though, the transfer students, they were veterans of it. They had been through it before. And I don't know how much older they were, but they seemed a lot older because that one was just a killing machine.
They seemed like more in their 20s.
Yeah.
Whereas the other ones seemed like 15, 16, somewhere around there, maybe slightly older. I think they were all supposed to be junior high students, so I think they were all supposed to be 15.
Okay.
Although I think some of the actors were older. Some of them looked older and some of them looked younger. But the two transfer guys definitely looked older. They looked like they were in their 20s at least. But yeah, you find out later that the psycho one that looked like Sid Vicious, that he had actually volunteered to do it because he's like, I can kill people. Because he just wanted to be able to kill people at random and not get in trouble. And then the other one, whose name was Kawada, I think, he had been in it before and he won, like he was the survivor. But then
they made him do it again.
No, they didn't make him do it again.
I thought they did make him do it again.
No, they didn't make him do it again.
Okay.
He volunteered to do it again because his girlfriend got killed.
Okay.
And he wanted to get revenge.
All right.
On the people that put it together.
Okay.
Because remember, like the last scene, like toward the last scene, like he had actually hacked into the system, like even before that.
It was
before it even happened.
It was subtitled, and I probably missed some of it. But my interpretation of it is that I thought that that the way it happened, that it didn't count, that he was last, but it didn't actually count as a victory. That's what I thought had happened.
No, I think what happened was that when he was in it before. I think his girlfriend ended up sacrificing herself so he could win.
Tell who killed who?
So he could win.
Right. Okay.
And so he could like go on.
So he could survive. All right.
And because I mean you'd have to, otherwise you get blown up if there's not one person left. So he thought that was so fucked up that he volunteered to go back so he could fuck with the people that did it. So he had done it before, so he was like really experienced. But like I said, you never know, you don't really know until the end if he's really like a trustworthy character or not, because he hooks up with like our two main characters who are like the nice people, and you never really know if he's gonna like fuck them over or not.
Because he wasn't really killing people with wild abandon either.
Yeah.
I mean, he could have killed a bunch of people, but he didn't.
Yeah. So you're kind of wondering like what his deal was, you know. TB said, if I remember, one of the boys was supposed to rape the girls, but they decided not to have that happen. Well, there is one scene where that guy threatens to rape that girl. He's kind of like pawing at her, and he says something like, I could force myself on you.
Yeah, that's right.
Because he's in love with her, and she's like, fuck off, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And she is not having it.
Somebody else killed him, I think.
She gets very upset.
Somebody else
killed him.
She killed him?
Remember, she stabbed him right in the balls.
Oh, that's right.
Right in the fucking sack.
That's right.
I was like, God damn.
At first I thought somebody had interrupted that thing, but yeah, that's right. They started fighting.
Yeah, they started fighting, and then she started stabbing the shit out of him. Well, somebody else was there, but then like I think she ran off, and that's when she got shot.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Because somebody was shooting at her as she was running away. And then she died later.
She died.
Yeah, but
there's that girl with the 45.
Yeah, she stabbed the fuck out of that dude.
Yeah.
Like she went right for the crotch, like right over and over again, and then just started.
Well, he was already down.
Yeah.
So she had a shot at it.
Yeah, and she just like and I was just like, damn, you go, girl. But
she keistered him with it.
Yeah.
I think what happened is booty. I think that's what she. Oh, there's a lot of fucking. The bleeding is fucking tremendous. It's fucking.
So
you get stabbed there. The Romans used to do that to each other, but you know, fucking the Martyrs did to keister somebody. Fucking,
of course they
Evidently,
did.
That's what happened to Julius Caesar when he was assassinated. They say that he was stabbed in the nether regions is basically what it says, and some people thought that maybe they mean like stabbed in the dick, but other people said no, they were talking about shoving it up somebody's ass.
They shoved him up his butthole
several times,
stabbed him up his
multiple
butthole.
times. They were hitting him in.
Yikes.
That was the story, because there's a fucking lot of blood vessels and a lot of arteries in that area. The two femoral arteries are coming from that area. That's a good spot.
Just
if it's a big wide blade, yeah. Especially multiple entries and it's from the back.
Yikes.
And then the humiliation. Because you're walking off fucking bleeding like that before you die? Yeah. That's the idea.
Bleeding out your booty hole?
Yeah. And you're trying to plug it up.
Plug it up.
They're laughing at you.
Yeah.
Look at his pussy bleed. All kind of shit. You know, it's that kind of stuff.
Throwing tampons like in
throwing tampons.
like in Carrie.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, is this your first time? You know, that kind of shit. Yeah. It's supposed to be like, you know, it's violating the men, basically.
Yeah. Romans were all about that.
Romans were fucking down with
But
that.
yeah, I think that was probably my favorite kill in this movie, because of course it was. But I don't know, there was a lot of good ones. I think the one where that crazy girl like killed the one girl with the sickle and just kind of went and like her head kind of goes like that. That was like pretty cool too. But like most of them were, like I said, most of them were just shooting.
Yeah.
So while I would call this a very, very violent movie, I didn't think it was like super gory. It's kind of gory, but it's not like no one gets flayed alive or dismembered or anything like that. It's mostly just people being shot or stabbed in the dick or something like that. You know what I mean? So back in 2000, I could see why. I mean, I don't see why, but I can see why Crybabies like had a fit about it. But it's really in the grand scheme of things, it's really not even close to the most violent movie I've ever seen. I was reading that a lot of people compared the reaction to this to the way that the British reacted to A Clockwork Orange when it first came out.
Yeah. The Clockwork Orange was
Orange was like banned in the UK for a long time.
The reason why is because the sexual assault scenes are fucking, the emotions are very realistic. You know what I mean?
I have a hard time I love A Clockwork Orange. It's one of my favorite movies ever. But man, I have a hard time watching rape scenes in general.
And they don't really show anything.
They don't show anything, but the suggestion,
to you.
The suggestion of it is so upsetting.
And the audio.
Yeah, I think that's kind of what it is. And seeing like the dude's face. Yeah. Like the guy that is later in the wheelchair.
Cutting
you know what
that woman's fucking clothes off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like I said,
and they're singing like it's funny.
Yeah, and like you don't see it happen. Yeah. You just see like the preamble to it.
Yeah.
And you just see the dude's face like as he's presumably watching it happen.
Yeah, they're beating the shit out of the husband while it's happening.
Yeah, and it's just kind
of, they're going, viddy well, brother, watch what I'm going to do.
Yeah, and it's just that that's like really, really disturbing. So I can see. So it's not so much A Clockwork Orange is violent, sure. There's a lot of rape in it. There's a lot, but it's not super, super graphic. Yeah. It's just like the idea of it, the suggestion of it is a lot more disturbing. And sometimes that's more disturbing to me than actually showing the shit. You know what I mean? Although I will say that I think one of the most upsetting rape movies I've ever seen was I Spit on Your Grave. Yeah. Because holy shit.
Surprisingly good movie, though.
It is. It is a surprisingly good movie, but woo, it is hard to sit through because honestly, the rape scenes in that are just like, they are not glamorized or titillating or anything like that. They're just horrible. Yeah. And they're long.
Yeah. But A Clockwork Orange, that's not what that movie's about. Clockwork Orange. If you guys haven't seen Clockwork Orange, that's fucking one of the best movies. One of the best movies about crime.
That's one of the best movies ever. I love that fucking movie. I've seen it a million times.
That was what's his name did that?
Kubrick, Stanley Kubrick.
Kubrick. That's a Kubrick flick. It's
book's good too.
Epic. Yeah.
I love the book. Yeah. Book's a lot different.
Yeah, it's similar though. It's pretty close.
I mean, similar. The end is different. I read them. The end is different.
The end's different.
But I think that honestly, I think the movie ending is better. Yeah,
it's about right and wrong, and what kind of governments would actually remove somebody's ability to choose between right and wrong. And that's what it was about. It has to do with fucking, totalitarianism is part of it, and what you would call now anarcho-tyranny, where the government gets so desperate they start recruiting criminals to be their cops because they're fucking profiting and getting more powerful off the chaos that the government is creating, taxing people to death and shit. It was a good flick, real good flick.
Yeah, CB also brought up I Spit on Your Grave. Like when she cuts his balls off underwater. Yeah, and honestly, one of the best things about that movie, why it's so cathartic, I think, and why people still watch it, is because the rape scenes at the beginning are so prolonged and like so horrible. Like when she just goes and fucks up like all the dudes at the end, you're just like, yeah! You know what I mean? It's just kind of like, you're just like, yeah, fucking kill that dude, cut his nuts off, you know what I mean? It's just like I said, it's really cathartic. but it's hard to sit through. Like, I have a hard time. Even suggestive rape scenes, I have a hard time sitting through that. It's that and animal cruelty. I can watch pretty much anything else in horror. Well, I don't like poop stuff or anything like that, but other than that, like, I can watch gore all day long. I can watch evisceration all day long. It doesn't bother me one bit, but that kind of stuff, I don't know. That really bothers me. And like I said, the scene in Clockwork Orange, that still bothers me, even though I've seen that movie like a million times. You know, just because like you said, they're just acting like it's funny, and just the reactions of the victims and stuff.
There's
is,
some
like,
scenes
horrifying.
like that in Henry Portrait of a Serial Killer too.
Yeah, that's also a very disturbing movie.
Yeah.
Sometimes, like, stuff doesn't have to be, like, really gory to be, like, super disturbing. Sometimes it's just, like, the idea of it. Like, if you think about it too much. Phantom says animal abuse in films is harder to watch than rape. Yeah, it depends. I have a hard time watching anything with animals. I don't like... Even if it's fake. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Every time... And I feel like a lot of recent horror movies, and I think I mentioned this in some of my reviews, a lot of recent horror movies are just kind of like, we're going to kill the fucking animals. You know what I mean? Like, it's not real. Obviously, they're not fucking... the dude that made Cannibal Holocaust, Deodato, but who killed animals for real in that fucking movie. But even if it's fake, they're just like, ooh, it's like so upsetting. Let's kill the doggies and kitties and stuff. Like, would you fucking stop that? Kill all the people you want. You kill babies if you want. Just don't kill the fucking animals. Yeah. Although, you know, the makers of the coffee table absolutely killed the baby. So, you know what I mean? Beheaded it and everything.
What? What are you talking about?
That Spanish movie.
Is it?
The Coffee Table.
Oh.
Whew. That was a messed up movie. I reviewed that one a little while back. But like I said, European horror movies, they don't give a shit about killing kids, man. Americans, they seem a little squeamish about that.
They killed an infant in the other.
That's true.
Yeah.
But that was an old movie. That was like from the 70s.
They didn't show it happen, though. They showed the aftermath.
It does happen every now and then, and sometimes kids will get like menaced, but you don't see it as much. I kind of feel like a lot of European horror movies, they just like, yeah, we'll kill the kids too. It doesn't matter. They're not like squeamish about it, which I thought was kind of interesting. But I was gonna say, I don't know why I just thought of this. Would be like killer kids movies, but there's a great movie. It's British actually. It came out, I think it was from 2008, and it was called The Children. I think I reviewed it a while back because it's like a Christmas movie, and that was like a killer kids movie, and a lot of kids get fucked up in that one. So it's really good though. I really liked it. I've seen it like a couple times. All right, so are you ready to?
Yeah, I've said all I can say about it.
I've said all I can say about it. But yeah, if you haven't seen Battle Royale, it's a classic. It's super, super influential.
It's pretty good. I'd rather see
it's like a whole
cut, though.
Yeah, it really kind of spawned a whole subgenre. Yeah. Like I said, it was a big influence on Quentin Tarantino, on The Hunger Games, on Squid Game, like the Purge movies, all that kind of stuff that came after are kind of based a little bit on this. So, to greater or lesser degrees. So, yeah, it's definitely something that if you're into horror or Japanese film or anything like that, you should probably definitely see it because it's a cult classic. Like I said, the one on Amazon Prime is the extended version, which I've heard is inferior. However, the one that's on Freevee is dubbed into English, which I'm also not a fan of. So, if you can get your hands on, I think Anchor Bay did a DVD of it, and I think there was a Blu-ray in 2012. But that's about... I don't know where else it's streaming or if the normal theatrical version is streaming somewhere. Anyway, but yeah, all right. So we're gonna wrap it up for this evening. Hopefully, you guys can join us again on Wednesday night. We're gonna be talking about Mother Teresa. Now, interestingly, somebody recommended that we do this because I kind of wanted to. I think when we were talking about the Magdalene Laundries. And the thing about it is that Mother Teresa, even though she's been canonized and everything like that, like after she died, all kind of fucked up stuff came out about her, like how she wasn't really the saintly person that she appeared to be. So we're going to talk about that on Wednesday night show, so that should be super fun. Probably get a lot of more religious people crying in the comments, which is always entertaining. But yeah, so hopefully you guys can join us for that. Thanks for dropping by and hanging out with us this evening, and we'll see you guys again on Wednesday night.